911, where's your emergency?
Yes, hi. We're at Bema and Suites. We're just wondering if anybody has reported a gunshot down.
Yep, we're working a scene out on Stadium, okay?
Okay, has anybody been, caught?
Okay, I'm not at liberty to discuss any information, ma'am. I just suggest that you stay in the hotel with your room locked, okay?
Okay.
In towns across America, countless people order ride shares daily. The service is interwoven seamlessly into the fabric of modern-day living. While ride-sharing companies like Uber have propelled themselves into the heart of local economies, their meteoric rise has been punctuated by debates over fair wages, job status, and potential labor exploitation. And yet, for the average American, the act of summoning a ride is done without a second thought. The car arrives, and the passenger enters, trusting in an unspoken pact of convenience and safety. But what enigma lies behind that steering wheel? What past shadows or present storms churn in the driver's psyche? Is today the day they come undone? On one fateful night in Kalamazoo, Michigan, this trust was fractured, forever tinting the lens through which many perceive their journey with a stranger. It was a brisk and sunny 53 degrees on Saturday, February 20th, 2016 in Kalamazoo, Michigan, when a young man named Matt requested an Uber at 4:21 p.m. As he entered the silver Chevy Equinox, he was greeted by a quiet, gray-haired man of middle age. The air carried the dull scent of routine, until the driver's phone broke the silence. He answered the call, and when it ended, so did Matt's peace of mind. The driver suddenly began to race at a high rate of speed, entered an oncoming lane of traffic, ignored a stop sign, and sideswiped a Ford Taurus, all while ignoring Matt's constant pleas to stop. When the driver halted at a stop sign, a bewildered Matt saw his opportunity. He quickly jumped out of the vehicle and called 911.
County emergency.
Hi, I'd like to report a crazy driver. I just got an Uber to my friend's house, and on the way there, he was driving neurotic down West Main. He hit a car. He drove through the woods, and I finally just jumped out.
Where's this at? Where are you at?
I'm on Huron Street, off Nichols.
Okay.
I got his license plate number when I jumped out of the car.
Where'd you jump out of the car at?
No, I mean, he stopped because I was like, this is my destination, this is my destination. So I got out of the car, and it was like a block from where my actual destination was, but I just had to get out of the car because I was scared. He was driving 50, 60 miles an hour. He hit a car. He drove to the median, and it was crazy.
Okay, and this happened on West Main?
Yeah.
Drove through what median?
Well, when we tried to go right onto Nichols, you know how it kind of, there's that yield sign, and there's that big patch of grass. He drove through that.
Okay, just a second. Let me get you right place, okay? Stay on the line.
Yeah.
This Nichols area.
(911)
Hi. I'd like to report an erratic driver.
Where?
I was just in the car with him. He was my Uber driver, and when he was weaving in and out of lanes, he sideswiped the car on West Main Hill. He was driving to the median. He was driving like 75 miles an hour down West Main. I got his license plate number when I jumped out of the car.
What's the plate, please? Okay, what kind of car is it?
It was like a Chevy Equinox.
What color?
Silver. He had a dog in the back seat. He was my Uber driver. Like I had to get a ride back to pick up my car from last night.
Mm-hmm.
and on my way to my friend's house, like it started off normal, and then all of a sudden he just started driving super crazy, blowing stop signs.
Did you want to talk to an officer, or you just want me to put out an alert over the radio?
I just wanted to report it because I don't want someone to get hurt.
I understand what you're saying, but I need to know if you want to talk to an officer or if you want me to have an officer, just have the officers just be on the lookout for it.
I just want to be on the lookout. And
okay, thank you.
Report to Uber because I don't think he needs to be picking
people up. You're going to have to do that, sir, not us.
All right, I can do that.
Thank you.
Fortunately, Matt was uninjured. He gave the dispatcher the vehicle's make, model, and license plate number, and she put out an alert. Deputies were on the lookout for a recklessly driven vehicle but had no inkling of the utter chaos that was about to unfold. Meanwhile, court records reveal the Uber driver returned home shortly after the incident and called his wife to ask for the keys to her car. He explained the Equinox was damaged during an accident, and they agreed to meet at his parents' residence to make the exchange. On the way, the driver accepted another ride request from a woman who wanted him to pick up her boyfriend at an apartment complex. As the Uber driver headed to the pickup location, the requester realized she had provided the wrong address. She texted a correction and tried to call the driver but got no response. Regrettably for 25-year-old Tiana Carruthers, she would soon become the object of the driver's anger. It was 5:42 p.m. when she was overseeing a group of children, including her daughter, in an apartment complex play area. Tiana was approached by the Uber driver, who was at the wrong address, and asked her if she was the person who requested a ride. When she stated she was not, the driver turned his car around, aimed a gun at her, and opened fire. As the shots rang out, Tiana shielded the children with her body as she directed them to safety. In the process, she sustained 4 gunshots to the left arm, legs, and back. Approximately 15 rounds were shot, the ground littered with shell casings. Moments later, a neighbor found the severely injured Tiana lying on the ground and called the police.
Okay, it's okay. Come on. Hello? Hello?
911.
We need someone here.
Okay, over on. Okay, ma'am, are you over on?
Please, we need...
Are you over?
You can come up.
Ma'am, you need to tell me where you are.
Come upstairs. Yes.
Yep, we have deputies on the way. We have people on the way, okay?
Where did they shoot at?
County emergency.
Yeah, hello, I need a ambulance, police, and please hurry up. Somebody fire shots.
Okay, listen.
She on the ground. I don't know if she hurt.
Okay, ma'am, give me the number again.
In front of in Savannah Trace Townhome.
Okay, so female's down. She's been shot.
Okay, don't move.
Okay, where's the person that shot her?
I don't know. The car sped off, please.
Okay, ma'am, we're going to get the people going there, okay? I just need you to stay on the phone so I can get further, okay?
Okay, yep. Okay. I don't believe it's happening out here. Please don't move. Please don't move. They coming, okay? Please don't move. We got the kids. Please don't move. Just stay there. Okay, we'll get them. You just calm down. Don't move. We got them. Don't worry about it.
Okay, over on the...
Yeah.
Ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, they was in the car. They sped off.
Do you see what kind of car?
Did anybody see what kind of car it was?
Where you are.
They saw it. They didn't know what kind. What color was it? It was a silver car. That's all we know. It sped off so fast.
Silver car? Okay.
I mean, it was like about 9 shots. Okay, they coming. Fine, they coming.
Okay, everybody's on the way. I'm still going to put you on hold for a second so we can get ambulance and rescue, okay?
Okay, please.
Tiana was treated on the scene before being transported to a nearby hospital. She would survive her injuries and eventually undergo multiple surgeries. 1 minute after the shooting, the Uber driver's car was reported speeding through a red traffic light at an intersection approximately 1 mile away from the crime scene. It struck another vehicle and fled the scene. We know from police records that the driver, continuing his erratic behavior, later met his family at his parents' home. He spun a tale for his wife, saying that a disgruntled taxi driver, angered by losing fares to Uber, randomly fired a shot at him and intentionally struck his car. He added that he reported the incident to Uber and they were taking care of it. He gave her a handgun, warning of impending dangers looming at their doorstep. He said to her, "You should probably stay home from work and keep the children out of school." As he left in his wife's black Chevrolet HHR, she demanded to know what was going on. He turned to her and said he couldn't tell her what was happening, but assured her she would soon hear about it on the news. From 6 to 10 p.m., he drove aimlessly between occasional errands and even continued to accept ride requests. None of the passengers he took witnessed anything unusual or alarming about him. At 10:01 p.m., the driver spontaneously turned into the parking lot of a Kia dealership on Stadium Drive in Kalamazoo. At the time, 53-year-old Richard Smith had accompanied his 17-year-old son Tyler and Tyler's girlfriend to the dealership to look at cars. Richard was a pipe fitter for over 30 years, while Tyler was a high school senior and varsity soccer player. According to the girlfriend, who stayed in the Smiths' car as they looked, she observed the Uber driver park his vehicle, exit, and randomly approach the Smiths as they looked at a pickup truck. The driver asked the two men, "What are you looking at?" Before the Smiths could respond, a barrage of shots were fired. As the chaos unfolded, eyewitnesses fled to a nearby Burger King restaurant. While one person recorded the shooter's movements, others called 911.
Kalamazoo County 911.
Hi, we just drove by the Kia. What road are we on? 94 Business, and a guy just shot some people in the parking lot.
Okay. Are you still near the scene?
Yeah, we're at the Burger King, a couple of places down. There's a car sitting in the lot. I can't tell. It's some kind of SUV.
Okay. All right. Did you hear shots fired? Is that?
Yeah, that's what made us look. And there were two guys laying on the ground and one guy pointing a gun at them.
All right. Hold on. You're actually within Kalamazoo City's jurisdiction. I'm going to transfer you over to them, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yep, just stay on the line.
911, where's your emergency?
Hi, we're on Business 94. We passed the Kia dealership, and we just passed with somebody shooting a gun at two people lying on the ground.
Okay, the Kia dealership where?
It's on Business 94 in Kalamazoo. We are pulled into the Burger King, which is a couple businesses down. There's a Tuffy Auto Center. I'm sorry, we're not from the area.
Okay, so you're on Stadium Drive?
We're close to 131.
Okay.
I think it's Stadium Drive.
Okay. Did you see who the person was that was shooting?
No, I just turned because we heard gunshots, and there was a man standing there pointing a gun at two people lying on the ground. We could see the smoke from his gun and hear it as we drove by, and we just pulled in. I don't know, we're probably 150 yards from them. There's an SUV still sitting in the parking lot.
Okay. What color is the SUV?
It's gray.
How many shots did you hear?
How many shots? At least 4.
Heard 4 shots?
Yeah.
Are they on the ground? All right. And you said the people are laying on the ground still?
We can't see them. There's cars blocking our way, but the SUV that was parked there is still there. It's running with their, brake lights on. The Kia is 4102 Stadium Drive.
Okay. What is your name, ma'am? And what is your last name? And you're at the Burger King?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
I'm trying to get further.
Okay. All right, ma'am. I'm going to go ahead and get an ambulance on the way. Is the person that's shooting still there? Did you see?
I can't tell. I can't see anyone. If we moved farther in the parking lot, we might be able to see.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable pulling up to see if the person is still there?
No, because we don't know if the guy is still there.
Okay. Okay. What kind of vehicle are you in?
We are in a black truck.
Okay. All right. Would you feel comfortable if our officer gave you a call on your telephone or made contact with you at the Burger King?
No, that's fine. There's still people lying on the ground. Looks like at least 2.
Okay. Okay.
They're right underneath the Sealy Auto Group New and Used sign in the parking lot.
Okay. All right. Well, we have several officers on the way.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we're fine just sitting here until someone arrives.
Okay. All right.
But there's definitely at least 2 people on the ground.
Okay. I'm going to keep you on the phone until our officers arrive on location, okay, in case anything happens. Did you happen to see anything else that you can think of as far as a description of the male?
I just know that he was white and had like a full head of hair, probably light colored gray or blonde. Other than that, I mean, we were driving by, okay, one police officer is just pulling in. Other than that, we were driving by at like 50 miles an hour. The only reason I turned is because I heard the gunshots.
Okay. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect with you right now, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and have an officer get in contact with you via telephone, or if you feel comfortable waiting there, that's fine.
When we can wait. The cop car just pulled in, so he's in the parking lot right now.
All right, sounds good. Then go ahead and sit tight, and then we'll have an officer come over and make contact with you, okay?
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you so much for calling.
You're welcome.
In total, 18 shots were fired by the madman, and the Smiths were murdered in cold blood. Roughly 10 minutes later, a family driving into the parking lot of a Cracker Barrel restaurant 5 miles from the dealership noticed a dark-colored Chevrolet HHR leaving the parking lot at a high rate of speed. As the family turned into the restaurant lot, they were shocked at what they encountered.
Kalamazoo County 911.
I'm at the Kalamazoo Cracker Barrel, and there's been gunshots in a car.
There's gunshots in a car?
Yes.
Okay, has anybody been hit?
2 cars have been shot up. There's 3 people in 1 car, and 1 guy is not moving.
Do you have a vehicle? Where is the shots fired from?
Dad, I got it. We're at Kalamazoo Cracker Barrel.
We're at Cracker Barrel. I got that. Where's the vehicle where they were shot from?
They're both in the parking lot.
They're both in the parking lot? What's the vehicle that fired the gun?
It's a blue HHR, dark blue, and it drove off right as we pulled up.
It's a blue HHR?
Yeah.
Do you have a plate or anything? Which way did they go?
No, because right as we pulled up, he was pulling out, and he just took off out of the entrance.
All right, you said it was a blue HHR, correct?
Yes.
All right, hold on just a second.
Okay, can I get an ambulance to this?
Get an ambulance.
Okay.
Get an ambulance. All right, are they breathing?
One is not. Are you guys all okay? Okay, so this one car is okay. The other one is a minivan, and the passenger is not moving.
Passenger's not moving?
No.
You got pride? We got 1 victim.
County 5106 will be right over there. We've got 2 other units coming from Van Buren as well. Any similarity or relationship?
I got it.
Did you see who the person was?
No,
the
because
driver?
right as we pulled up, they flew out of here.
Okay. Sir, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. Where are you at right now?
I'm right behind both of the cars.
Both of the cars?
Yes.
Okay. All right, don't hang up, okay? I'm going to throw you on hold just a second, okay? Don't hang up.
Problem.
Sir, are you still there?
That's what he just asked.
Sir, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your name?
Yes.
Okay. Are you out with officers right now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna put your information in here so they can speak with you, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Police records show the Uber driver parked his car, got out, and randomly approached an Oldsmobile minivan. He asked the woman inside a question and then shot her before turning and opening fire into an adjacent Chevrolet Cruze containing multiple occupants. Inside the vehicles were 62-year-old retired daycare worker Mary Lou Nye, her sister-in-law, 60-year-old retired schoolteacher Mary Jo Nye, 74-year-old former caseworker Dorothy Brown, 14-year-old student Abigail Koff, and a close family friend of the Koffs, whom Abigail considered her grandmother, 68-year-old Barbara Hawthorne. The 4 women died, and Abigail was critically wounded. The gunman fled the scene and allegedly returned home to reload his gun. Despite having killed 6 innocent people, it was clear he harbored additional bad intentions. When officers responding to the scene of the Kia dealership shooting heard reports of gunfire at Cracker Barrel, they realized there might be an active spree shooter. Based on witness accounts, police learned the gunman was driving a dark-colored Chevrolet HHR. Using newly installed security footage from the Kia dealership, police put out a description of the gunman over the radio. As police escalated the manhunt, the Uber driver continued to accept ride requests. At 12:04 a.m. on February 21st, he picked up 3 people and dropped them off at a nearby college dorm. The passengers later recalled that the driver wasn't very friendly but did nothing to alarm them. Later, at 12 past midnight, the driver picked up 4 people and drove them to their hotel. During the ride, a passenger who had been hearing reports of the shooting spree jokingly asked the driver, "Are you the shooter?" To which the driver simply responded, "No." A few minutes later, he picked up another 3 people, and again a passenger asked if he was the shooter. This time, the driver insisted he was not. Finally, at 12:36, a police sergeant with the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office came across a vehicle at a red light that matched the description. The sergeant requested backup and began to tail the vehicle.
Eastbound or westbound or north?
Eastbound.
Clear next. Eastbound or north, for picture.
Driver, stick your hands out the window!
Interface for shots fired. Fix your location. Approach, or how do you want to do it? Alright, ready?
County 5106, you call. You're on a county stop on Ransom, just east of Porter County.
Last location was north and Pitcher.
Ransom and Porter County, Ransom and Porter.
Clear on it, Ransom and Porter.
Anything your backup at all? Multiple cars on south.
Clear on it, multiple cars going south.
Gun. Stuff them up.
Yeah, fire. We didn't come through.
31 John King Henry. 0 John King Henry.
We got one in custody, one weapon
off of him.
Jason Brand. Don't please throw one in custody, one weapon off of him. Where's he going?
The unit on the north right there, blocking the road. 30 rail plane, unit down Wallbridge.
Anyone go ahead.
Kong, are you good with him?
DAL, DOM versus Jason. Corporate North. 622
It's a real gun. It's pointed right towards that space. Hot.
Yeah, it is.
Nice job, Colin.
My car is burning.
Highly combative subject from custody and another unit.
32223.
Let's leave it for a second. I'll pull her right.
Thank you all for coming. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeff Getting, Getting. I'm the Kalamazoo County Prosecuting Attorney. First, on behalf of myself, all of us here, and everyone I want to express our condolences to the families of the victims from last evening's horrific crimes. This is just the most awful thing I can think of having happened, and to have to stand here and talk about these kinds of crimes is just a terrible thing. The next most important thing is to reassure everyone that there is no continuing threat to the safety of this community. We have a suspect in custody. We have no reason to believe that there was more than one person involved in any of these incidents. In fact, we have every reason to believe, based upon the evidence that we have in this case, that there was only one shooter. That person is now in custody. The suspect information, the person who is in custody, his name is Jason Brian Dalton, D-A-L-T-O-N. His date of birth is June 22, 1970. The Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety has photos that they can use to provide for you. The Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Department will also make the information available online if you want to get a picture of the suspect in this case.
At the time of his arrest, officers located a handgun in Dalton's waistband. He was also wearing a bulletproof vest. He told police he bought the vest for his teenage son, who was in the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office's Explorer program. This program lets youth from 14 to 20 years old observe and see what a job in policing is like. Dalton was detained without incident and taken to the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office, where he was subjected to interrogation. Dalton admitted his involvement in all three shootings, but claimed Uber's smartphone app was to blame. He explained to police that when he opened the ride-sharing app, he recognized the Uber symbol as being that of the Eastern Star and that a devil head would appear on his screen. He stated that was when all the problems started. He added that while he didn't want to come across as a crazy person, the Uber app gives you an assignment and then takes over your whole body. In his case, he was assigned to go on a killing spree. Dalton also told police that he did not drink or smoke, was not on psychotropic medicine, denied being under financial pressure, and did not consider himself an anti-government or militia-type person. Dalton was processed and held in custody without bond, pending trial. Jason Dalton grew up in Greenfield, Indiana, and his family later relocated to Michigan. He earned a law enforcement degree from Kalamazoo Valley Community College, but, despite his efforts, could never land a job in law enforcement. Jason and Carol Dalton married in 1995 and had 2 children. Carol worked in sales at Raymond James, earning $40,000 a year. Jason attended trade school for auto body repair and later worked as an insurance adjuster, making $50,000 a year. While Jason was seen as a dedicated father and a good person, their marriage was rocky, leading to divorce discussions. Hoping to mend their relationship, Jason became an Uber driver to help fund a Disney World trip for the family. He passed Uber's background checks and began to take passengers 2 weeks before the shootings. Unfortunately, the family tensions persisted, and the Daltons separated on February 20th, hours before the tragic events. 4 days after his arrest, Carol Dalton filed for divorce. Through police questioning of a close friend of Dalton's, police learned that following the separation from his wife, Dalton and the family friend visited no less than 4 gun stores before the shooting rampage. When his house was searched, police recovered an arsenal of weapons, including 11 long guns, 4 handguns, and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. Although there was no documented history of mental health issues, published reports suggest that he had recently been feeling depressed and paranoid. Dalton was arraigned on 16 charges, including 6 counts of murder, 2 counts of assault with intent to commit murder, and 8 counts of using a firearm during the commission of a felony. On April 22nd, after several weeks of psychological evaluation, it was determined by the Michigan Center for Forensic Psychiatry that Dalton was competent to stand trial. At a preliminary hearing on May 20th to decide if there was sufficient evidence to try him on the charges, Tiana Carruthers, the first victim attacked in the shootings, took the stand to testify against her assailant.
I seen him coming, and I saw a gun.
Intimidator cars. No, they gave bags. These old people, they have these old black bags. They're called they're black. They're black bags that people drive around and you look at them. It gets real like, hey, it's time people look, and then that's when to tell people it's time to get to Temple.
Joe, you need to listen to your attorney, right?
Yeah, you need to get to Temple because you need to get going because it's called intimidator bags.
You need to be quiet in today's proceedings, okay?
Yeah.
Don't you have anything to say, you whisper to your attorney. That's today's rules, okay?
So, Ms. Carruthers, are you okay? Or do we need to take a minute?
Take it.
All right, we're going to call a recess.
Take it.
Please, if you would escort down into holding.
We're here, honey. You're okay. You're okay.
Dalton reportedly made somewhat indecipherable statements, which caused Tiana to cry, forcing a recess to be called. The hearing resumed later in the day, with Dalton participating remotely from jail. A trial date was set for June 13, 2017. After several delays, jury selection was slated to begin on January 3, 2019, with opening statements scheduled 4 days later. However, against the advice of his attorneys, who planned on mounting an insanity defense, Dalton chose to plead guilty to all counts against him. It was a decision that ensured he would never experience freedom again. On February 5, 2019, Jason Dalton was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He is currently incarcerated in the Oaks Correctional Facility. In 2020, Tiana Carruthers was nominated as a finalist for the Congressional Medal of Honor Society's Citizen Honors Award, as announced by U.S. Representative Fred Upton. While she did not win, Tiana has since launched a business focused on motivational speaking, workshops, and mentoring youth, aiming to turn her personal tragedy into a source of inspiration for others. In an interview on March 3, 2016, Abigail Koff's parents recounted the harrowing night their daughter was shot in the head. Doctors declared her dead and began discussing organ donation when she suddenly began breathing again. According to doctors, a fracture in her skull provided space for her brain to swell, likely saving her life. After several surgeries and hospitalizations, she significantly recovered and even attended her school's homecoming in 2019. According to a company spokesperson, Uber added more safety features and improved some old ones. As of 2018, riders can share their trip details with up to 5 friends or family. There is also a button in the app to quickly call 911. In addition, they claim to have enhanced driver background checks. Despite these changes, the Kalamazoo incident reminds us that no matter the technological advancements, human behavior remains unpredictable.